The end of the year is a time for reflection. We look back at the past 12 months and ask ourselves, what have I accomplished? Often we do this by focusing on the goals we set and the boxes we checked or didn't check. But when metrics and milestones become the primary lens, we start losing touch with ourselves and with the deeper patterns shaping our lives. My name is Andy Christoph, and today I'll talk about annual planning, but not in the way it's usually framed. We have no shortage of goal-setting systems, but if we're honest with ourselves, many of them leave us strangely unsatisfied. Clear plans, measurable progress, and a lingering sense that something essential was quietly neglected. Recently, I had a breakthrough in my own process, something simple that surprised me. So instead of adding more to the pile of frameworks and checklists, I want to offer a practice that transforms reflection from a mental audit into something more visceral. Here's what I discovered. There's a fundamental difference between how we relate to our past versus our future. When it comes to the past, we connect emotionally to it. The experiences we've had, the moments that stand out to us, the sense of continuity that led us to today. These memories are literally woven into our nervous system. But on the flip side, our future is something we view through a cognitive lens. The future version of us is an abstraction, a stranger we're trying to mold and shape through measurable goals, analytical frameworks, and strategic planning. Think about inner child work. In therapeutic traditions, from psychodynamic theory to internal family systems, the inner child represents not just memories, but exiled parts of ourselves that hold unprocessed emotions, unmet needs, and the raw truth of what we felt before we had to adapt to our caregivers. It's important to ask ourselves, why do we do inner child work? We do it to liberate these parts by witnessing them and offering them the care they never received, so we can integrate what was once shamed and split off. It's powerful because it's embodied. So this entire reflection led me to the question, how can I connect with my future self in the same way I connect with my past? How do I make the future more emotional and embodied rather than so distant and abstract? The method I came up with is surprisingly simple. I decided to use voice journaling to record periodic audio notes for my future self. I imagine him opening and listening to these files 5 or 10 years from now, or even in old age. I thought about making a journal entry, but I didn't want to just write about this. I wanted to capture it raw. My struggles, my aspirations, the particular way I was making sense of things right now. It was straight from the gut with all the messiness and the uncertainty of the moment. And something incredible happened. This truly felt like a dialogue, a heart-to-heart conversation across time. Suddenly, my future self came to life. He wasn't this abstract stranger, he was a person I could talk to and relate to at a pretty deep level. Someone I could feel for, and importantly, someone I knew cared for me and felt for me too. And I felt this immense gratitude for the present moment, for the path I'm on, for the presence of my future self in my life. Both my past and my future became part of the same continuum. It felt like a bridge emerged, and the dots connected forward and backward. This led to my second aha moment, recognizing the healing potential of these conversations. The same way we do inner child work, we can do what I came to call future self work. The embodied presence of our future self in our lives, which feels like an older brother or sister or a wiser companion, becomes the greatest accountability partner we could have. Why? Well, for one thing, because they matter so deeply to us. We can't see ourselves abandoning them or letting them down. And two, because they are us at some really fundamental level. And so they have this acceptance and unconditional positive regard for us. But this goes beyond accountability. There's a powerful element of witnessing. Just as our adult self can witness the inner child with compassion, seeing them fully without judgment, the future self witnesses us in our present struggles with the same loving kindness. We get to be seen and held in our humanity, our complexity and contradictions, and all the lights and the shadows and everything in between. And in that witnessing, there's this subtle shift. The frustration loosens, the self-criticism quiets down. We find ourselves held in a gaze that doesn't ask us to be different, only to be honest. After trying this process a couple times, I realized it gave me the missing piece when it came to turning my plans from abstract intentions into real commitments. It removes the performative aspect of setting goals, chasing metrics and accomplishments, because consciously or not, we've come to equate the achievement of the goal with the feeling we believe we'll get. But it's so often that we get to the destination and realize, is this all there is? The achievement doesn't fill us up. It feels like a leaky bucket that we have to keep filling up, only to find ourselves empty again. When our goals are rooted in social comparison, in trying to prove our worth, in obligation, in trying to earn love or mask a sense of inferiority, these are compensatory mechanisms that are born from past hurts and future anxieties. Oddly, establishing this bidirectional connection, bridging the continuum between the lived past and the embodied future, places us more firmly in the now. I'm pretty sure that this future self practice won't erase the wounds. It won't undo the early life stresses, the relational trauma, the bullying, or the myriad infractions and betrayals that may have made us feel less than. But it puts things in perspective. It opens up some space for self-compassion and helps us thrive in the present. So as a practice to carry into the new year, consider establishing this ongoing conversation with your future self. Find a good anchor for this practice. It could be the quiet of a Sunday morning, your walk in the park, or that first cup of coffee on Monday before the world wakes up and starts piling things on your plate. Whatever you choose, do it in a relaxed, reflective state. Give yourself some time, half an hour to an hour, and be completely candid and self-expressed. Tell your future self what you're grappling with right now. The dilemmas you're facing, the tensions you're holding, the fears that keep resurfacing. Share your hopes and dreams, your proud moments and your small victories, but also your doubts, regrets, contradictions, the parts of yourself you're still trying to understand, and maybe even the parts that are still trying to come out of hiding. And then the crucial part. Listen for their response, not as a cognitive exercise, but as more of a gut check. This isn't about living up to some imagined ideal. Believe it or not, it's about rebuilding trust. Trusting yourself again. Creating an actual relationship with the person you're becoming. A relationship that's grounded in radical honesty. And in the quiet courage to keep walking your own path. Look, I don't want to end on a down note, but I want to acknowledge something important. 2025 has been a difficult year for many of us, not just personally, but collectively. This time of year naturally carries its own weight with the pressure of resolutions and big declarations. But beneath that, there is something heavier, the anxiety of the world we're living in. When everything feels unstable, planning can feel a bit like an empty exercise. Why set intentions and resolutions when the future feels so fragile? Why tend to ourselves when there's so much beyond our control? We can't control the macro forces that are swirling around us, but we can control how we show up for ourselves, the people we love, and the communities that we belong to. And I hope this channel is a small reminder of that. And needless to say, during times of uncertainty, that consistent tending of our inner world, our relationships, and our daily choices becomes even more essential. Not to escape, but actually quite the opposite. To anchor ourselves so we can be steady. So we can meet others with more presence, with more resilience, and with more capacity to make a positive difference. So as we move through this holiday season, I wish you the space to reflect without pressure and deeper alignment with the things that actually matter to you, not just in the short term, but from the vantage point of your older and wiser future self. Whatever holidays you celebrate, I hope you find moments of joy and genuine connection with yourself, with the people you care about, and with the life you're building. Happy holidays and see you next year.